Everybody, let's go for a walk along the River Parrot with me, Cherry G, just to see what we can see and point out a few things that's wrong with our environment and the very people that seem to want to ruin it for everybody. Okay, let's go and walk along the River Parrot from here down back to the village. Why not? Nothing else to do. Well, it looks like they've really separated these fields off. Because that's separated, and then over there, I can pick it up on the camera, it's another gateway. There's a road between the gates. See there? That way, along the road, and there the fence goes right along there. Get into the shop. Right through, and on the hill there there's another gateway. And this field's been separated off again by another gateway, but it's still open to public access. Interesting. Crane is there. That is going to be Bridgewater's new police station or police headquarters, right there on the express part, along with all the other crap. Capitalism at its best. Buy up all the land you can and just build production units on it that do no good for anyone. But yet, got a lovely scene though. Excuse my sniffle. I bet the rabbits that were burrowing under that hedge had a shock when it all filled up with water. Poor bunnies. They would all have been drowned. What a shame. But that's nature for you. It doesn't have preference for no one. Not even human beings. My friends. So when it comes to things like that, and you're in a way, Mother Nature doesn't care. And I'm up here and not down there on that track. Look at that mud. That's what the rain has done over the last few months. Absolutely soaked the ground. Around here. So sometimes it's impossible to go in here. Excuse my shadow in the picture. In a few months' time, that won't be there. So in a couple of months, instead of looking at like that, eyesores like that, you'll be looking at a residential area. Because they're going to be building houses over there. So all this brickworks, the old brickworks, is vanishing into the realms of history. And yeah, that's all the rainwater for the last couple of months, draining off the land. Heading out. Down that way to the River Parrot over there. Even out in the countryside, you'll find modern technology. And that, solar panels for electricity or heating for the hen houses. Yeah. That's technology for you. Talk about going green. That's what everybody ought to do. Get off the grid. See the pylon behind? That's a good advert, isn't it? The old with the new. So I'm going for a walk, but it's the mud. It's very soft. As the ground is so saturated after the rain. It's very hard to not lose your shoe once in a while. So, and we're over the worst of it. The worst of it is this way. Look at that. Right to the gate. And there is all mud. Although it's grassing over, but it's still very, very saturated with water. Rainwater. Excuse my shadow, but it makes good viewing. Snow is walking along the back. Look, there's daisies there. Now, I don't know whether I'm right or not, but I think they're a bit early. As you can see, there's a nice daisy there. There's another one just growing in the grass there. I don't know whether that's early or not. I don't know, but there you go. And the bank must be starting to erode away, this bank, because these rocks here are part of the banking itself. And they seem to be ending up in the mud, falling out of the banking. So maybe it is going to happen. It is re-eroded away. And you can see they are, because there's a rock there sticking out the bank. There. And that could end up eroding away, so you never know. The next couple of tides that could be washed out and end up where the others are. You can see by that how high the river comes during the winter here along the Parrot. But you get all this big crop here where there's hardly any mud at all. Then it fans out again and widens for the gully over there and the other side, and it goes on down. That is the how high the tide comes at the moment. And when you look at the bank that I'm standing on, let's just move over here a bit. You can get a good clear. That's the bank I'm standing on. There. That's how far it comes from the top of the bank. Okay? Not very... That's how far it comes. Not far from the top of the bank. That's how far it comes now. In a couple of years' time, if global warming is alright, in a couple of years' time that should be even higher. But it hasn't changed in years. And I've done a lot of walking along here, with camera and without, so I know. And it's more or less the same every year. Not the thing to do with your disused inhalers, my friends. They belong in a proper place, and that's disposal of them properly, and not there. It would have been better to take it back to the chemist and let the chemist deal with it, instead of just chucking it there, so it ends up washed up here. When you go along there, There's an old tennis ball there. Probably been there a while. Then further on from that is some kind of plastic box. Oh, Cadbury's, would you believe it? There you go. People just chuck it away. Chuck it in the river, why not? Hoping it will float away to some other shore. For those who are watching it and recognise that, well, and who knows that they chucked it in a river, will know it's not ended up very far. Just at the along the River Parrot, not far from Dunball. That's how high water is still, look. There, nice little puddle. Yeah. A gully for the field, that's a drainage. If you go along a bit more, there's another one. Just there. Lovely, isn't it? Something to remind you of the past. A pillar box, as they call them. Made out of pure concrete. Put there during the Second World War as a way to impel or propel to stop invasions from foreign bodies coming up the river. Like the Germans would have been interested in a small popsy place like Bridgewater. Bit of nature sculpture there, I think, with an empty milk bottle there. When they said Red Bull gives you wings, I don't think so. I think they meant for it to float down the river. This is how all these bottles and plastic bottles end up out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and places like that, and being swallowed up by whales and stuff when they scoop up the plankton to eat. This is not environmentally friendly, is it? And this is not disposing of their disused garbage, is it? Or rubbish in our country, UK. They just chuck it anywhere and it ends up floating down the river. People just chuck it anywhere. They don't care. Why not? We're here to wreck the world. Let's do a bloody good job of it. Yeah, a buttercup. And it's only January. An old aerosol can. Just dumped in the water and end up here. Unless somebody threw it away, but hey, it shouldn't be there. It should have been disposed of properly. Because even though it feels empty to you, it still retains its gas. At one time, some proud little girl's favourite toy has ended up on a riverbank, on the River Parrot bank, in the mud. What an end to a favourite toy. Just laying there, waiting for the next tide. Such a shame, really. Once enjoyed and played with for hours, now just discarded. And left, like I said, waiting for the next tide. Who knows where this favourite toy might end up? In the belly of a whale? The belly of a shark? Who knows? Across this little object in the middle of the path underground. That is a doggy ball. One of the ones that go in that funny stick you throw. Well, it's ended up here. What happened? Why didn't they pick it up? Why didn't the dog pick it up? No idea. And that's where it is. Oh dear. And what do we find discarded by the river? Would you believe it? It's an old inner tube. Just floating down the river, a bit higher the bank. But then again, the tide will eventually come up there and sweep it away out to sea into the wider yon environment of this beautiful, fragile planet that we live on. It's amazing what people will chuck in a river, isn't it? And here we have a chair that no more bums will sit upon it. Not a shame. What a waste of good furniture. Also waiting to be swept out to sea via the tide. And next to it, we'll just up the bank from it, looks like a deflated football. And we come across a lot of them along this river, along with all the other rubbish. More nature sculptures, just nature doing what nature does best, disregarding it, and just leaving it for the elements to sort out. Look at that, eh? That's what nature does best, I suppose, with its bits and pieces. Look at that. This section here, and can you believe the rubbish? Look at this, it's all accumulating in this specific part. And this log, right down, and over there and beyond. That is disgusting. Talk about environmental people talking about keeping the environment clean and tidy. I don't think so. And all the bin adverts that you come up with and all that don't do a thing. People still disregard nature and just chuck it in the nearest river. And it ends up places like this. Look at that. Who knows what's in there? This blue container we're going to be... Well, what the hell is that? It's just... You know... There's no call for it. Wonder where this has come from. That's an unusual thing to see, isn't it? I wonder what that is. Washed up here, left for good, till the next tide. Some wildlife at last. Look at that. Some wildlife. someone's little angel's discarded nappy or diaper if you're in the US. Probably chucked in a river and just found its way down here. Why can't I dispose of it properly? So they're just chucking it in some river. Nice little cobwebs all across the grass here. Just notice it glimmering in the sunlight, all the cobwebs in the grass there. Ah, lovely. New life making its way into the world. That's a rabbit too. Rabbits. More wildlife. Discarded Doritos packet ended up by the riverside. Discarded Dorito packet should have been put in the bin. And as you've seen with our walk along this river so far, all we come across is lots and lots of rubbish, all discarded by people who've got no more further use for it. So instead of being environmental friendly and using their brain, they decided to just chuck it in any old ditch or river along the roadside and places like that, hoping it will be gone and they can forget about it. But the environment doesn't forget about it. It pollutes the environment and makes things worse for everybody else. That time we started to realise and put it into our heads and educate our young people to realise that by throwing it on the ground, it's going to be end up somewhere in the environment causing a pollution and probably upsetting a vital ecosystem somewhere upon this planet. Not that they care anyway, because they don't even consider thinking about that. And that's the sort of thing we should be teaching our young and get them into their heads to realise, but like I said, by throwing it away, it's likely to cause some damage somewhere to a small ecosystem or in polluting the environment around it. Now come on guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends, neighbours out there, educate your children not to chuck stuff away. If you educate them young to do it, they'll still do it when they grow up into full-grown adults. So take a hit from me. Don't discard your rubbish, all your medical stuff. Put it in where it belongs, in the rubbish bins, where it can be disposed of properly and doesn't pollute the environment. So come on everybody, let's get together, let's work together on this and do something about it, because if you don't, you ain't going to have much of a planet left. So what are you going to do about it? You're going to educate your kids? After all, you wouldn't chuck your rubbish in your neighbour's garden, would you? Well then treat this planet like it's your neighbour's garden. Okay? It's simple enough to remember, and it's simple enough to do. Think, neighbour, planet. Neighbour, planet. The planet doesn't deserve all this shit. Okay, we make this stuff so we can use it and to help our lives or to improve our lives, but when it becomes unusable anymore or time to dispose of it, think neighbour first before just throwing it on the ground. And then think that the planet, and treat the planet as your next door neighbour's garden. Or even your own garden, come to that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this walk along the River Parrot with me, Terry G. I hope you got an insight to how to look after a bit of the environment, because all that rubbish is just not on. So it just leaves me to say, have a great time of going out and about, because that's what you need to do. You stay inside, you ain't going to know what the world is like. So it's time to get out and about and experience the world and do something about it and help change it, because it's not going to change without you. So get out of that chair, and get on and become an activist and help change the world along with all the others out there. Just see me say, have a great time of it, have a great week, or whatever, or great year, and I'll catch you all again very soon. Bye.